Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I am on a little, not mountain trail, but it's going up the mountains at Curmătura. The people of Sibiu know exactly where I'm at. Going to Păltiniș, but I'm not going to go to Păltiniș. Păltiniș is a mountain skiing resort. And here's a beautiful little river that is enjoyed by the CBN. From time to time they come here and they make fire, grill some steak, drink some beer, and then don't pick up after themselves. I'm just kidding, not. So I'm gonna get you to this little river here. One in the shade. Look over there, that airplane and the whole thing. Isn't that beautiful? Now this is life, my friends. This is life. This is it. And here is obviously the fire pits. And I have to pay attention so I don't step in a poo-poo. I used to be around here as a kid many times. So I'm in a little valley of the Kings. And you have not a lot of sun in the summer here because obviously look how narrow it is, but it's opening up down there. So Donald Trump dropped Zelensky. I read a few articles coming from the West, not from Russia Today, which is obviously for Sputnik, these guys. And they claim that Trump dropped Zelensky and he had enough with him and with the Ukraine war. He wants it done, over, and he, according to the articles I read, understands, which I think he should have understood that a long time ago, understand that it's up to the Russians really to stop the war because they need to be talked to, not with Zelensky. I think the conversation that Putin and Trump had on the, was it 15th? Thursday. And they were, again, they say frank or some ciuperci, how do you call this, mushrooms? I don't know if they're good or not. Okay, the conversation, phone call between the two, I think, according to this information, to these guys, was frank, direct, and I think over there was settled or sealed the war in Ukraine. I think Trump, or whatever Putin told Trump, convinced Trump that if you continue, there's going to be an escalation. Tomahawk missiles delivered, escalation, we might strike you. We have to, Donald, we have to. That's what I think it happened. And that, I think, was sealed, the whole deal in Ukraine. Or at least Donald Trump had, maybe, I was not in the room at that phone call, in either room. I was online, but, you know. So I think that was the moment when Trump realized that Russia is not going to collapse soon. Russia is not going to lose this war. Russia will use everything it had as weapons if it's pushed to an extreme. I think Putin was clear that that's the end of the line, and Trump doesn't have any mood on trying to be a general. And he realized that something must be done. This is the last war he's gonna solve. The garbage in the Middle East was not solved. It's just an temporary regrouping. That's what's over there. So that's the main thing that I would like to convey here. Why is because of the conversation, and according to the sources that talked about this event, they said Trump shifted focus into the South America. The US has to, and I'm sorry for using this term, but I think that's the exact term they are using in their head or in their conversation. They have to tame and control South America. The Monroe Doctrine. I saw fish. I thought, oh my God, there's fish over there. I didn't expect to see them. I saw them with the side of my eye, like going up. And I said, no, it can't be fish here. I mean, I know it is, but I didn't expect to see it. And I saw 3 of them. I'm not BS you. Well, they're like this big. As I can, they went that way. I don't see them anymore, but they came from here. Zip, 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 zip. In that area over there. Well, I saw them. Okay. So the refocusing of the America's attention, and I think they will try again to threaten and make a deal with China, which again, they couldn't scare China enough to make it cave in. Russia is not destroyed militarily and not economically or politically. So these guys, I think they had enough. Not they being the guys in charge of the political system here. Those are the economic interests, financial interests. So they will change and focus closer to home. One of the reasons why Rome collapsed was overextension. And they didn't understand at that time because of the elites. How do you call that? The elites' delusion and their inflated ego, they can still control their empire, and it collapsed because it's overextended. I think the United States of America is at the same moment. The elites are, I can't find the word. I don't want to say perverse. They're not perverse. That's not what I mean. When something is losing its value, and they became fat and outside of broken, they don't understand what the hell is going on around them. It's degenerated. That's what it is. A degenerated elite class in the West. And unfortunately, I think that some are not, and they look at their profits and they say, you know what, nice try. What can we do now? We have to regroup. It is like a company who's existing and is working on deficit, not on profit, on deficit. It is losing money, and it knows that it has to restructure. That's what's called. That means downsizing. It's gonna fire. I'm getting paranoid now, but I'm not paranoid because I know there's things. I'm gonna try to go here. Isn't very nice? I don't know if you see it. Very nice colors over there. Very nice little valley going up. It's a little Izvor, creek, whatever you wanna call it here, but it's dried out here. So the Americans seem to have understood, or the guys in charge, this was the last rodeo for them. China and the other guys are already too big. Therefore, it's unsustainable. So what they're gonna do? They're going to restructure. So their foreign policy will shrink. I stepped on a shit right there. But, motherfucker, I wasn't, how to call it, man, I'm gonna be lucky today. I had shoes on, so that means I was okay. When I was a kid, I used to play soccer here in these areas with others. You would step on those and you feel it between your toes. So they have to restructure, so they say we're gonna have to start over from the center going back out. You can't fight like the Romans did. They tried to solve the borders and they were eventually destroyed. They had also a degenerated class, including a religion that promoted resentment, and that also destroyed the spirit, the heart of Rome, the Romans. They became soft. All right, why? Well, turn the other cheek and see where that gets you. Then you have to turn around, bend over and get it deep. And then what? Abuse by everybody. That's not how the world works. It's based on power and interest. That's the way it is. You turn the other cheek, I'm gonna knock the fuck out of you and get everything you got. You're gonna find people like that, a lot of them. And what are they gonna do? They're gonna be my slave. But anyway, they figured out at one point that they can bend the rules and start being the guys who punch others in the face, even though they fought supposedly for, you know, being kind and love and is the answer and all that. So it seems like Trump is gonna go now to South America. He's trying to take care of Brazil. Brazil is too far ahead. Milei, he pumps money in Milei, a loser. As I said many times before, his austerity measures and his whatever he calls them, shock therapy, is not gonna work. And I said his reign is gonna end up most likely being overthrown by a mass protest. How do you call that? Spontaneous mass protest, and the Argentinians or Argentines will get the fuck him out. And probably the military coup is very possible, but it's very, you know, that's another option. The Americans will try to keep him in power as much as they can, because otherwise, if they lose Argentina, that's kind of like gone over there. Yeah, you can know they have over there. They have Colombia and whatever they have. It's a fight for resources. They want to make sure that they get Venezuela's oil and resources, and that's what they try to do at this point. With China will make a deal, with Russia will make a deal, US will restructure, and they will dump Zelensky like a piece of whatever I stepped on over there. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A lot of people are coming over, Red Rover, to eat, mountain bikes and all that. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.